Hi, everyone, and welcome to Organizing Life's Daily Demands. I'm Peter Gordon, and I'm president of New York Financial Organizers, where we help people pay their bills, manage their insurance claims, and we kind of work on all the non-investment side of finance. And the purpose of this podcast is to introduce you to other people who do things besides organizing finances. And today I have a wonderful guest. Kish Melwani, who is the president of ServiceByte. They're an IT company, and I have the pleasure of working with them on a regular basis. And I'm looking forward to our conversation. How you doing, Kish?
I'm doing all right. Thank you for that lovely introduction.
You're very welcome. So why don't you start by giving us a little background about ServiceByte and what you guys do?
Sure. So ServiceByte is a managed service provider in the IT support space. So what we do is we help homes and businesses with IT support. In the business market, we typically work with professional service firms, people in the accounting market, legal, financial planning. And we are essentially, the way I say it now is we're essentially protecting American businesses from outside threats and internal risks. It is an interesting journey that we've been on, especially with all the risks that you've probably been aware of with cybersecurity. And that's the business side. The home side also is about risk and protecting people, helping them. And it's been a great little adventure to be able to help out all of our clients to make sure that their assets are protected, making sure their business is running, they're efficient, and they're secure.
Right. And the way we met was through a great organization called the Orion Resource Group, which is made up of people in the geriatric care service industries. And as I recall, you were presenting at a meeting, and I just thought you were great, and that you had so much powerful information for small business owners like myself, and you were incredibly helpful to me, and we've been able to work together. So everybody out there knows that I hired Kish because he is our IT consultant as far as our business is concerned. But in addition, we're in the process of starting to work together for individual clients that I'm referring him to. And why don't you talk a little bit about that, how you work with individuals in this program you have in Westchester?
Oh, thank you. So we have a program called ServiceByte Home. And ServiceByte Home supports primarily older adults because they are the most vulnerable when it comes to technology. What we've seen, especially over the past couple of years with the pandemic, you really see what's happened to that group. They've been forced to use technology, and their health and safety is the reason that pushed them into that position. And what you're starting to see is that, at the start of the pandemic, for instance, the most vulnerable shouldn't have left their home, should not have been going out, even doing things like shopping. And we found ourselves in this position where we had to help them, even to just teach them how to use Instacart or some online service so they can get things delivered to them. But then on top of that, cybersecurity went up, cybersecurity incidents went up. And we started to see an increase in the number of scams over the phone where they were being preyed upon. And we had to make sure that when scammers were calling and hoping that people would do something to their computers, that we were there to protect them from that risk. But then It continued.
Yeah, and I know I was just thinking about one in particular client of mine that I had referred you to take care of exactly that. She's constantly being scammed, and happily that she's not a victim because we catch it. But I had your company help her by going in and checking out her computer and making sure there was no malware, et cetera.
Yeah, and it was important, especially for the two of our businesses. The work that you're doing for your clients, for instance, is in helping them organize their lives. And part of that organizational effort also introduces reducing their risk. Some of these folks are, former business owners that may have retired and they sold their businesses, and they have financial risk at stake, and they don't have the protection of having an IT team protecting them through their business. So now there's this great segue where we can help clients even after they transition and sell their businesses and move on, to be able to help them individually to make sure that that risk is still being protected. So it's been great.
Talk a little bit about that. How do you help them in that way?
So one of the things that we do is, obviously, as a technology service provider, we're going to protect them from the technology side. But if you think of the scams that are out there, they're not always touching on technology. So, for instance, if somebody receives a phone call with a grandchild scam, as we reference it, which is when somebody calls you and says something is wrong with your grandchild. They've been hurt and they need immediate assistance. And what their goal is really is to try to get you to do something on short notice in an emergency. In many cases, it means, hey, something's wrong with your grandchild and we need to send money right away. They're out of the country and they're injured and they really need some support right now. And you get this kind of request, and the person sometimes engages it. They give the credit card number. How do you protect them from that? And what we've seen is that there are things that we can do, like lock down credit cards, make it so that you can only use a credit card at a certain vendor, only on Amazon, for instance. And on top of that, let's assume that it's not necessarily a credit card scam, but an identity theft. Well, we're going to build in the assumption that somebody's going to get an identity theft incident, and we're going to protect them by locking down their credit. And this is great because if the scammer gets somebody's information, they can't do anything with it, anything that is useful to them. So that harm is being mitigated. And these are some of the various ways in which we help our clients.
Yeah, no, that's a great service that the credit bureaus offer, is to lock down the credit, like application, for lack of a better term, where only a certain individual, where the credit bureau will call to the original, the actual owner of that identity to make sure that they're applying for whatever loan or whatever financial increase they're looking for. I many years ago, I actually was scammed. I was on vacation, and somebody was trying to open up a loan with my identity, and we were able to take care of it, but it was a real hassle. So if you can't get to that point, it's obviously a lot better, and that's a great service you offer.
It's very unfortunate when somebody does have identity theft. Your whole life is uprooted. You find out you're trying to lease a car and you can't because somebody's already taken out a lease on your name.
And what we do is we encourage all our clients to open up an SSA account, a Social Security Administration online account. And I've done that for some people where we can't get into the account because somebody has already stolen the identity. It's very nerve-wracking. So that's a whole nother podcast. So, yeah. One of the things I love about working with you is your really high level of service. Talk about the guys who work with you, the people who work with you.
Oh, thank you. We are very proud of our team. We have a good culture here at the company. Every other month we're doing something, movie night, going out, having a great time. For us, it's important to have that connection, and I'm proud of my team. Three of my teammates are celebrating their 5 years this year. So it's great for a small business to have people committed, career folks essentially that are committed to helping people.
It's very unusual.
Yeah, it is. And I think that I am very lucky that I have a great team. And we are growing. By the way, if you're looking for if you know any IT folks, we're hiring. We're looking for actually 2 more.
In Westchester.
Ideally in Westchester, but obviously if there's somebody in the New York metro area who doesn't mind making the trip to Austin, New York, and spending the day with us and working, it'd be great.
I'll put it out there.
Yeah. And I feel like the team is the driving force in our company. We are all about people. The biggest part about our work is we are helping other people. So we want to make sure we have the right folks who understand technology but don't speak tech jargon. They're going to understand that we already are aware that we speak 2 different languages, right?
That's great.
There's like this tech jargon, and then there's this other layer on top of it, and we want to simplify it for our clients, to help them make the right choices, to help them understand and make the right choices that benefit them the most.
Yeah, no, and that's really important, and because especially in the world of technology, it's easy to mix that up, and sometimes tech people don't speak English. they speak their language and nothing else, and that's not the case with you guys at all, and we really appreciate that. It's been fantastic. One of the other things that I love about you, Kish, is that you're really on top of technology, and you're very quick to recommend something new. So when we were preparing for this yesterday, you brought up a program called Tango that I took a quick look at that I'm really excited about. And I'm excited about it from for a business point of view. But I was wondering if you wanted to touch on how somebody might use that from as an individual.
Yes, I'm going to make 2 good cases for Tango, just to give you an understanding of what it is, and how it helps our clients, and how it can help you as an individual if you're trying to organize your life better, right? We run into cases. A good example of this could be online shopping, where some of our clients, as I'd mentioned at the start of the pandemic, had to learn how to shop on Instacart and other online services, local grocery stores like ShopRite, for their convenience. So one of the things that my team was doing is instructing our clients on how to do it, doing it with them again, and then having them do it. The 3X rule, essentially, to teach somebody. But then we also understand that because we're in the technology space and things change, we understand that also this person that has just been taught this information may not use it again for maybe another 2 weeks or a month. Right. Or maybe they decide to pause for a while and say, okay, let me try this again in the winter. So we found Tango to help us with that, where we can actually go shopping with the client in our instructions and simultaneously create instructions as we're doing it with pictures, and then send those instructions to our clients afterward so that they can repeat that process with ease. They can get a PDF copy of those instructions. They can get an online version of those instructions. And they are so easy because they're following the same steps that we had shared with the client to each step. And then the client could just print it out afterward, have a copy on their computer, and just view it as they're doing it the next time. If they forget, they have something to help hold their hand through that process. And I thought, hey, how can we do more with this? And we realized people on their own can use this. If you're doing things like filling out that annual Medicaid application, right? Or a Medicare application where you need to renew, or you need to fill out something on a semi-frequent basis. Well, maybe it has too many steps, and maybe you just want to make your life easier. Why spend hours trying to create your own step-by-step guide when you can do it within minutes? It's actually so amazing that the software itself tells you how little of a time it took you to create your own instructions.
Oh, wow.
And sometimes it's only a few seconds.
I just registered for it, so I'm going to start using it. I mean, from a small business point of view, it's fantastic because it's going to help us create, document our processes and procedures for the work we do, which it very often is rote and repetitive, and that's just what this is for. It's really great.
Yes.
I'm really excited about it.
So we love to use it. We continue to see how it develops over the months.
I know it's free to begin with. Is there a cost involved?
I believe it was about $10 or less per month. From what I saw, I know that there's different packages that they offer,
Right, sure.
and there are many other companies that are doing this. Some go as high as 30 from what we've seen, but it depends on the use case and individual plan. But it's a very reasonable cost for something that saves you an immense amount of time, especially when you're learning new things and you want to be able to retain that information.
Yeah, no, that's great. You have any other tricks up your sleeve you want to share with us before we finish up?
I am really excited about what's happening in the cloud space with processes and automations. A couple of things that we're working on right now to enhance our own operations and then bring those benefits to our clients is business process automation, where what has happened over the past decade is a lot of businesses and individuals have invested in cloud services, Gmail,
Dropbox.
Asana, Dropbox, all these various services. And what's interesting is that because they're cloud services, they have a way of interconnecting. So now we're at a phase where you've made that one step up to enhancing your life by making your data available to you anywhere, anytime. But now we can actually interconnect them to make your life easier. So one of the examples that we give, for instance, in business is if a client signs up for a service, what you might do in a case like that is respond back to them and tell them what the next step would be. Bless you.
Unfortunate timing.
And what happens in a case like that is if you were to consider when that client sends that message, you're doing something manual. You're receiving that message, then maybe you're sending a response back or you're sending something to somebody else to do. You can automate that now. You can actually make it so that when the client responds back, there's something that automatically happens. And it actually speeds up the process, allows the client to do something more independently or in a speedier fashion. And ultimately, it helps any business be more efficient and organized. But then there's more. And RPA, which is robotic process automation, this is a different thing that we're also working on. And this is going to bring some immense efficiencies to clients because you can actually have the work that people do, a lot of the mundane tasks that people do being automated. So for instance, if one of the things that people do is take some document and take a name and customize it with a name or a number, that is considered a mundane task now. You can actually take a document and a name and number from one area and put it into another area and have something else happen without actually doing it yourself manually. You don't have to move your mouse and click and drag and move things around. You just click a play button and it just does it for you.
Right.
And it's remarkable. So robotic process automation is a future that we are looking forward to.
Hear more about that. And it's very interesting because a lot of I'm assuming a lot of the people who are listening to this and watching this, they're interested in how we can help individuals, but a lot of them are business people themselves, and they could use that within their own businesses. So that's really helpful. Well, I want to thank you. This was great conversation, very educational. There's a lot out there, and if anybody is interested in contacting Kish, his information will be on the website and wherever you might be viewing this. And why don't you tell it to those who are listening?
Our website is ServiceByte.com. That is Byte is spelled BYTE. ServiceByte.com. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Kish. This was great. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Peter.
And so long, everybody. I'll see you or you'll hear me at the next podcast. Take care.